Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, and welcome back to another video on Marvel Strike Force. Now, today's video, heads up, it's going to be a little bit of a rant because I feel that basically this rollout for the patch has been absolutely atrocious. It has been a flat out disaster. We were meant to get like basically the whole thing last Wednesday, and thing after thing has been delayed. The only good thing is that I guess that we did get Nightcrawler on Friday, and he's in the roster now. But there's so many things that we were supposed to have got, in a timely manner, things that are being pushed back. And honestly, I'm a little bit questionable. I think the fact that these things aren't out yet, I don't even know if it's going to come on time. We're going to talk about all these things that I think that should be here that isn't here, things that we're going to be getting, all of the excuses, all of the blogs that came out, and all that and more in today's video. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. So this is going to be in no particular order. We're going to be jumping around a little bit as far as what's going wrong, but so okay, let's start with the basics. Actually, let's start with what do we have in the game, right? Like, what is part of this patch that we actually do have right now? We do have Nightcrawler, which came in on Friday, and then I think it was yesterday, maybe at some point yesterday, they did update the roster page to include now Forge and Sunspot. So that's something. At least we have all three of the Extreme X-Men in the game. We also have the Gambit and Cyclops stat rework, of course. That's in the game now. So I guess Extreme X-Men's covered. What's not in here yet that was mentioned not only in the patch notes but also in-game mail as well is the symbiote stuff in the Hive Mind. The symbiotes have not been touched up yet. Now, as far as I'm aware, they've been gone. They're back to the drawing board. Is what I hear out there is that the reworks that they were given is not sufficient, and that they're going to go back and test it some more. So Carnage and Venom haven't had their stat touch-ups yet. They're still, I actually leveled them up to 95 in advance because I knew that this was happening. So they're both at 95. As you can see in my roster, and just waiting for whatever's happening for the Hive Mind. So I guess the question is, are we going to have this in a two-part rollout? Are we going to have the Extreme X-Men, which we're kind of having now, and then maybe sometime in mid-January or something, or whenever we get to Hive Mind, that they'll be coming out then? I don't know, but things have been very bad when it comes to communications in the game. I've been doing my best to try to get some communications from the team as well, and haven't really heard much back. So it's been a little bit frustrating to kind of have the radio silence. I don't know what's going on over there. They're just getting ready as well to go on holidays this Friday. So the blog post that we will get on Friday likely is going to be it for the next 2 weeks at least, because that's going to cover Christmas and New Year's. So they're going to be out of the office. And so whether or not that the blog actually gives us everything that we need for all of the upcoming stuff is going to be a completely different question. In the game right now that was launched yesterday is the Winter Solstice Gala milestone, aka the Kraken Fest. So this is just sheerly a milestone for how much that you're spending with Ultra Cores and collecting snow globes in a variety of different offers. Not all of them have that, so you have to pay attention to which offers actually do have the snow globes. From my understanding, what I was told is that to get to the very bottom is 12,000 US dollars to max this out. Now that's just absolutely insane. Kraken's gonna Kraken, right? And that I guess they're the people who keep this game still kicking. But it's just utterly shocking that there's really not much value for buying a lot of these things at the lower milestones. There's really not much good stuff here. Like, maybe you can buy one offer and you'll get like a handful of these things at the bottom. Most of these characters, which are now farmable now. I'm actually surprised that Ronin's at the bottom, but hey, it is what it is. And you might get like one Diamond Dawn orb. But in terms of the other rewards, they have Diamond Orbs, they have Diamond Dawns, they have Armory 18s, they have this new Diamond Champions Orb, which obviously none of us normal people are going to get. Though I do find it a little bit funny in terms of what's actually in that. And we'll take a quick look. There's also these new Mega Gold Orbs, which will give you up to 100 million gold jackpot, but it's very unlikely to happen. And I do want to kind of just show you that really quickly before we move on, because I do think that it's kind of funny. So if you go into the orb store, again, there's going to be some random orb pop-up offers. The Diamond Champion Orb, let's talk about that first. So you're going to get 20 silver diamond credits with a choice of 12 different characters at random for a 3 diamond. some of these characters which really aren't that relevant anymore to get diamonds on, namely, I would say the Invaders, arguably Dark Beast still, but you might get some value. Doctor Strange is on there, Gamora's on there. Okay, so they're okay, but none of them are really like out of the park. I would say actually some of the best characters in here, I guess, is probably Icarus, because of the scaling for that, Spider Weaver, and Kestrel and Kang. Those four probably are the best ones in here. So it's kind of like Russian roulette in this instance that you're not going to really necessarily know what you're going to get, and you could end up spending a lot of money trying to chase these and not actually get what you want. So there's a lot of characters that should be in there that isn't, and actually there's barely any new character in here. Vol is probably the newest character in here in terms of what Krakens might want. They might want 3 diamonds on newer characters that they already have 7 yellow on, because they Krakened out on those characters, right? And then we have the Mega Gold Orb, which is down here somewhere as well, and guarantees 1 to 10 million. Now you get like 500k guaranteed on the side, and then 500k in the middle, which actually is pretty high drop rates, like 50% that you're just getting essentially 1 million gold. And then outside of that, it's slim pickings. Like, it's not happening. 3.5% essentially to get 5, 25, or 100 million gold. It's just it's not. If they ever make this into a flat out offer where you can just buy it rather than in that milestone, I think a lot of people will kind of get baited into it, but it's just not that great. So I just wanted to share that with you really quick. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, which is a little bit frustrating, is that in the Friday blog post, we had the fact that the Extremely Sinister, which is supposed to be the Extreme X-Men Showcase, was supposed to go live on Monday at 1 p.m. This did not happen, and in fact, it doesn't say anything here in terms of when it's going to go live. We don't know. I tried to get some further information on this. Radio silence. And so what do we know about this? Well, we know that a lot of the things that Scopely says on their blog are just flat out lies, and that they never come through with the dates that they put out. So that part's actually really frustrating to me, because it's not even the last week, honestly, but the last couple of weeks, maybe the last couple of months, like, as far as the blogs go, they've just been oddly almost more inaccurate than they were in the past. And things have gotten pretty bad with, especially the past 1 week, but like, I've noticed this just off and on for a while now. The game in general is in a good place, but I feel like the communications, the accuracies of the information that comes out is just really, really bad. And I don't know really at this point where to place it, who to place it at their feet, because I don't know, where the breakdown is at Scopely HQ where this is happening. Like, it's just, it's frustrating for me. It's frustrating for the players. I'm honestly, it's frustrating for everyone probably. And so maybe they're overworked. I'm not going to make excuses for them. It's their job at the end of the day to get this right. And then they're not. And it's tiring to we expect certain things to happen. We expect, like a playable product, that we're going to be getting these things on time, and it doesn't come out. And I haven't had one of these rants in a little while, because I just feel like either I've just had my head in the sand about how things have been, or I genuinely have actually felt that things have been doing pretty well. The other thing is the Incursion Raid, the one that we're supposed to be getting. Now, hopefully this does come later today, because we did get actually a blog post on Monday about this. So the dev team is working quickly to activate the new Incursion 2 normal. So in case you guys don't know, the existing Incursion 2 raid is going to be turned into Incursion Raid First Strike, I think, or 2 First Strike, or just First Strike, or whatever. And we're going to get this new raid, which we actually know very little about. We don't know anything about the raid map in terms of the enemy, so it's going to be, if it does come out, it's going to be like pretty new for almost everyone. As far as I'm aware, I haven't seen any envoy testing done on this raid, so I guess that'll be very interesting. If this does come out at 4 p.m. today, then we'll see. If not, then that's just, another promise broken, because, it could still happen. A lot of things related to this patch has just been on the down. So I hope that this comes out, and if it does, then I will get some early footage on this, hopefully, so that you guys can see it in terms of the teams that we have right now, whether it's on sim or manual, and hopefully we can get through this. We don't know if the order of the teams are going to be the same as it was before. Is it going to be Mystic Tech, Mutant, Bio, Skill, or is it going to be something completely different? None of that has been really communicated to us, and so I'm not really sure what that is. Yeah, really, Winter Solstice Gala, that's what we just saw, and it's just really stupid. So, yeah, I mean, this release has been a bit of a nightmare. The only we have like part of it now, part of it later. Part of it's because they've just screwed up when it comes to, the release. I heard that we've had increased issues when it comes to performance issues, game freezes, things have gotten worse for some people. Lucky for me that like I haven't really had a ton of these problems, but the problems that did exist before hasn't has come back and become an issue for some. Apparently Nightcrawler's audio doesn't actually work in game. Not that I really play with the sound because they have like shitty bugged out sound anyways that they never bothered to fix like 3 years later. But yeah, apparently his sound effects aren't working, and they're working to update that and get that fixed as well. It's just like this whole patch has just been an absolute bungle. They finally fixed the Nova trial milestones like at the last minute, like with like a day left. So, they lowered the milestone requirements for his overloaded orb, which was like in place for the entire weekend that they didn't bother to do before they went away for the weekend. Yeah, I don't know. I want to say some good things, but right now things are just pretty awful. As far as the lizard event goes on, which is going on right now, some of you might have seen my video about that, but also the lizard orb itself is way worse. So it's about a 20% reduction in the estimated value, which is actually over here actually now. So the Supremely Sinister Orb, which is the lizard character orb, this does actually have about a 20% reduction in total shards. So Craven was somewhere around 6.4 or so, and then Lizard's like 5.2. So expect to get less lizard shards. Unless you have really good luck, you're probably not getting a 4-star lizard this time around. So unfortunately, when I said that in my video, that was not expecting this to decline so heavily, and there's like something like a 48% chance that you even get lizard shards at all, which was also a decrease from last orb. So they're being really skittish when it comes to the Christmas season. I feel like they're not being that generous, and we're seeing a lot more events catered towards Krakens and not enough towards free to play. Yeah, I know what people are going to say in the comments down below about that, but this is the holiday season, and they should definitely be more giving than they are right now. And then they should just get their goddamn house in order. They need to get their shit together, because this whole December has been an absolute shit fest, and I really hope that things get better. But obviously that they're going on holiday on Friday, and so if they don't have things fixed basically by then, I don't expect a whole lot until they come back after New Year. So that's a little bit of a problem as well. And before we go really quickly, because I forgot honestly, so I've kind of just slid this into the video, is that I forgot to mention that we don't have the challenge tiers yet. The challenge changes that we were supposed to get, it seems that we're only actually getting changes to Gold Rush and Training Day. Special thanks to Tana, as usual, for the data mines. But yeah, so it seems that we will be getting this. Now, I guess this means between now and whenever, but it's only for Gold Rush and Training Day. So they're adding 4 more tiers, which is great, but they're not really doing it for all of them across the board. I feel like all of them kind of deserve a little bit of a touch up, and not just these. But what that does mean, of course, is that we're going to be getting more gold and more training modules, which of course will be good. And we don't have anywhere of that level 100 coming yet. Now, as far as the other stuff goes, oops, I don't know, this Iron Man stuff. The other things I want to point out is the Nightcrawler event. So apparently this is going to be right after Christmas. So Boxing Day for those of us who celebrate that on December 26th. And that's going to be a Blitz event, essentially, for Nightcrawler. That's going to involve using, Blitz battles, some extra bonus points for using Superior 6 and Nightcrawler if you already have them. Spending power cores and earning the extreme orbs, which we're going to get through probably the Blitz battles, I would imagine. It could be just like a orb fragment payout like some of the other previous events for that, with diamonds of Nightcrawlers in the leaderboard. So that's going to be hotly contested. We can kind of tell from that. And a web milestone where you need to earn Blitz credits. So yeah, you're just going to be blitzing a lot. And that's going to be running from December 26th until just after New Year's Eve. So but January 1, January 2 or so. So get your Blitz shoes back on, because that's back on the agenda. We also have Forge, who's going to be the January month-long character. Mechanical Marvel, this is mentioned down here. You can always check this out both on Tana's server and my own. I have a section that redirects that as well if you want to check that out. So that's interesting. And then we also have this Sonic Judgment milestone, which is going to be coming sometime later in January, I believe, as well, which is going to have some diamonds for Quicksilver and some additional shards for Forge as well. So those are just some upcoming things over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, a bit of a crazy time, of course, but that's even if they can get their boat in order and actually get this out on time when it's supposed to, because they have a huge problem when it comes to, well, getting things out properly and also hitting switches when they need to, because apparently they can't even do that because we don't have the Extreme X-Men showcase, which is supposed to have been yesterday. So, hey, just wanted to share some of my thoughts. Not everyone's going to align with me on this one, but, I just had to get this out here because that's how I'm feeling. And at the end of the day, it's my platform and I want to let you know how I feel. So that's going to be the end of this video, everyone. And there might be some stuff out later, but otherwise, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon, signing out.